Hello, everyone, and welcome to Roll and Keep on Fandom Tabletop, and welcome to our playtest of Tales of Xadia, the official TTRPG of Wonderstorm's The Dragon Prince, powered by Cortex Prime. I'm so excited to be jumping into this with this amazing group of people. Thank you guys all so much for coming and checking this out. With all the reactions to playtest details and stuff dropping today have been absolutely incredible. I'm so excited to get to lead this story. Who am I leading it with? An amazing cast of people. Hey, Aliza Pearl from Nerdist, Geek and Sundry, Streampunks, the Improvised generation. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm very excited. I'm twitchy. I'm twitchy.
Well, we are on Twitch, so that's appropriate.
Yes. Our incredible community manager, Mellie Doucette. Hey, Mellie.
Hey.
Hey.
And then we're just doing hellos now. We're just trading hi. It's some little people don't really they're not really here for a show. I think they just want to hear us exchange some small talk and then call it a day.
Absolutely. And then maybe just talk about the Dragon Prince a little bit later after the stream. Not here yet because, hey, what would working from home be without a massive internet outage in her neighborhood? Vanessa Guerrero from the El Rey Network and the podcast Kicking and Screaming is one of our players. She is currently shouting at a cable company so that she can join us. She will probably be joining us mid-stream. And then, of course, finally, Cam Banks, the creator of Cortex Prime. He's the lead developer on Tales of Xadia, who will be helping us walk through this system and learn how to play. Thanks, Cam.
Hey, you're welcome. Also, this is my first time playing, so I don't want to raise any hopes.
This is actually, I'm so excited. I'm Joe Starr. I'm one of the writers of Honest Trailers. I'm so pumped to be doing this. This isn't just an actual play game. This is an actual us learn how to play game. So as you guys are unwrapping the playtest materials for the first time and stepping into this system and stepping into this world, I'm stepping into this system too. So today's going to be a lot of me and you, the viewer, learning how to play the game, learning the ropes. I'm super excited. I love this system, and I'm super excited just to get a better feel for it. A little bit of business, and then I swear we're going to jump in. First of all, the Tales of Xadia playtest is currently available via early email access. Mods, I believe, will be dropping links to access that in the chat. And finally, the full Tales of Xadia book will be available to pre-order Tuesday, February 9th at talesofxadia.com. Cam, nod if that was correct. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I said it right. Okay, good. Links are going to be dropping in chat as well. Or if you're watching this Monday at YouTube, there are links and details in the description. Follow us on Twitter at Cortex RPG. Make sure you're subbed and you're belled and all that good stuff on YouTube and Twitch at Fandom Tabletop. We're live here on Twitch every Thursday, playing different settings in the Cortex Prime system, including this Tales of Xadia, which we'll be revisiting often. Which I'm super excited to do. VODs drop on YouTube every Monday. And to thank you guys for tuning in live, we're giving away copies of Cortex Prime sometimes, and then I think other stuff. Mellie, tell them what they win.
So today we're giving away copies of the Cortex Prime Game Handbook Digital Edition. So that's going to be when we get heroic successes, and we're going to teach you what that means later.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And then finally, before we jumped into the game, I wanted to say congratulations to the team that's just been like pouring their hearts into Tales of Xadia to get everything together for launch so that you guys could see it and explore it yourselves. And I honestly, I really appreciate everyone letting me play a little bit at your table. All that said, let's jump in to Tales of Xadia with a little bit of opening crawl, shall we? Okay. The last few weeks have been chaotic, to say the least, in the lands of Xadia, for absolutely incredible reasons, for astonishing reasons, for very spoiler reasons if you haven't finished all 3 seasons of The Dragon Prince, so we won't get into specifics, but the reasons have been great. But in chaos lies opportunity, the spark of new adventure. 4 individuals brought together by a mysterious moon shadow elf named Feathershaw Their quest, investigate the forgotten, abandoned, and floating city of Inene, drifting high across the Xadian sky. It's a place that has escaped everyday conversation in Xadia for a long time. I don't know how one forgets a floating city. That's a pretty cool thing. But Inene has been all but forgotten. The clock is ticking. The island is on a collision course with a mountain range at the border. Feathershaw seeks a powerful artifact called the Primal Well. And as explained to Feathershaw, to their new comrades, the well conducts sky and earth magics through itself. It's a chest-sized chunk of marble, faceted like a diamond, reverberating with the residual magic it collects from the air around it. Then this is directed downward, pushing the city of Inene to a great height in the sky. This is the kind of place full of magic and artifacts that would perk up the ears, elven or otherwise, of any adventurer. So 12 hours before the city collides with the mountains, 12 hours to explore the abandoned city for treasures, baubles, and lost knowledge, 12 hours to help Feathershaw bring this artifact back to the Moon Shadow Elves as they claim their people's lives depend on it. It should be an easy job, but should is not always an easy word. And so that's where we start our story. On the outskirts of a lost city in the sky, a magical flash of moonlight drops a lone figure onto the road. Aliza, please introduce your character.
I am Eljal, they, them, a tall, tan-skinned, white-haired moonshadow elf. And Eljal lands, on this floating island and just braces themselves, looks around, and is kind of like already in a slightly crouched, ready for action position, just kind of always on guard. And that kind of describes Eljal in a lot of ways too.
And that action doesn't immediately come. Eljal finds themselves sort of crouched and ready to pounce in this kind of empty bit of block. It's nighttime. Your visual range isn't necessarily great, but it seems calm, it seems quiet, as expected from an uninhabited ruin of a city. That silence, however, is quickly broken by two rapid successions of moonbeam just like crashing next to you in the city. First, Cam, would you introduce your character?
Sure. I am Babakar. I am a Sunfire Elf, a mage of fire magic and sun magic. And I am quiet and brooding and typically don't make a big thing about myself, although secretly I wish to ascend and leave a legacy behind me that is well known among the other elves. I am also only one half of a team in that sense. Throughout all of this, I have had one other person keeping me in check for quite some time.
And as Babakar sort of collects himself, gives Eljal sort of a glance and a second look. There's a third flash of moonbeam magic. Mellie, will you please introduce your character?
Yeah, I'm playing Benetta, and she is a Sunfire elf as well. She's Babukar's brother, the person that he's been traveling with, and she lands a 3-point landing directly next to Eljal, so the two of them look almost in sync, but she stands up immediately, I'm not here for action. She's immediately like, we have a job, I'm getting ready to move, and is just doing a scan because she's a warrior who has a specific goal and she does not want to waste any time here.
Right on. So there's a beat goes by, no Feathershaw. Another few beats go by, no Feathershaw. And the three of you, for this moment, find yourselves alone. Also, weirdly, you're supposed to have a fourth compatriot, a human named, what was it? Winda, something. You don't quite remember, maybe. All of you just sort of briefly met right before you were zipped up to the city by Feathershaw. The two of them, nowhere to be found. What would you like to do? Scene's yours.
Wasn't there a human?
And another elf? one of your kind, Ilja? Did you see them?
Oh, yes. You mean the one that sent us on this trip? On
Yep.
this mission?
Moonshadow magic, so untrustworthy, and it's illusionary. It's all smoke and mirrors.
Okay. I get it. You have opinions about Moonshadow elves and our magic.
Look, we're here for a specific reason, so let's head in. We need to find this, get out. That's all we're here for, so who cares if they're here or not? Babu, come on.
I will shed some light on our situation, perhaps. And I will raise the staff that I have in my hand.
Okay.
And I'll prepare to cast just a simple ring of light upon this area that we're in now.
Okay, let's do it. So let's figure out how effective that spell is, sir. So my understanding, Cam, is I need to set you a difficulty.
Yep, shouldn't be very high, unless you want to be awful to me.
Yeah, right out the gate, I'm just a very just a terrible narrator for y'all. No, this is going to be a pretty simple difficulty rating, and so that the stream isn't just me scrolling to find that specific rule. Cam, what's the most simple difficulty rating we can go for?
Well, the absolute simplest will be 2d4, but I would go for 2d6.
There we go. Yeah, let's go for 2d6 as I find it on page 15 of my rule primer. Let's go for easy. So I am going to gather up my dice pool. One moment, please.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to add my 2d6s right here. I'm going to roll them.
Ooh.
Okay. This is a very frustrating result, right? Right
But a
out the
very
gate.
good learning
Please agree.
opportunity.
Yeah, very good learning opportunity for me. So a total I've rolled a 4, but I've also rolled a hitch for myself, Cam. So can you help us sort of walk through what exactly that means?
Well, if I had already had some stress on my character, which I
Mhm.
don't think I have right now, I feel quite unstressed, other than the fact that some moon magic dropped us here and not sun magic, which would have been much more preferable.
Clearly.
I don't think that I need to purchase that with a plot point. I will let it sit there and be useless to you, and I will depend upon the 4 that you rolled so that I will triumph in this moment.
Sounds good. Roll away.
All right, so I'm putting together my dice pool.
Great. I'm going to clear mine out.
I will start with intellect because this is a routine thing that I've done quite often. There's nothing about this that's difficult or strange. It's purely by memory.
Right. And you know what? Let's actually take a second and pause and even talk about sort of these mechanics in general, because I think we have a lot of people who might even just be completely brand new to Cortex, but even TTRPGs at all. So sort of the base of the way this works, and I love being able to try to regurgitate this to the developer of the game, is everyone sort of gathers a dice pool based on like a different pool of dice based on their specialties, you know, their attributes, their personality traits. This is very much a game driven on character and narrative. And so you are gathering sort of based on, you know, who your character is and what they're all about, this dice pool that's going to challenge my mighty roll of 4.
Yes, you're very potent roll of 4.
Yeah.
To put a dice pool together, I'm going to have to put together an attribute, which in this case, intellect. And there are 6 of them. Intellect is the one that I think is the most appropriate. And as narrator, you can veto that and say, no, you're full of it. Try something else. Then I choose a value. This is what drives me, what I am motivated by, what of the 6 values that all characters share. In this case, I think it is truth. I want to reveal what's going on here. I don't think it's necessarily devotion or glory or any of those things. I could do it to show off and have it be glory, but I don't think that's what I'm doing right now. I don't need to show off to the Moonshadow Elf, and I don't need to show off to Nata. She's my sister. So I will just make it truth. And then I need to choose one of my 3 distinctions. And hot-headed fire mage would be a good one because I'm using magic. So I'll use that. But I'm going to use it as a D4 because I think that me trying to do this is probably me being fed up with the fact that this magic that we've been using is the wrong kind. We got here on really confusing and difficult circumstances. So in this case, I think it's actually making it a little bit worse for me trying to practice magic right after going through the moonbeam.
Okay, cool. So he's kind of almost throwing like a little tantrum almost.
I am, yeah. It's like, this is what real magic looks like.
Yeah, and that's one thing I love about, not to sound too infomercially, I apologize. There's got to be a better way as I dump Cheetos off my chair. But one thing I really love about the system is you can take those aspects of yourself and as the story calls for it, make them a hindrance, like use them against you. If my character is an incredible gymnast, maybe they're a little too cocky in this moment, so I can step down that dice roll, and I just think that's really cool. And in return, you'll get a plot point, right?
Yeah, so if I use my, as a distinction, normally it's a D8, which is pretty good for my dice pool, but I'm using it with the hinder special effect, which means it's a D4 instead. But that gives me a plot point, which is good because I only have 1 right now, and I think I want to save them up to do awful things to you later. So I'll do that. Also, the D4 is more likely to roll a 1, which means a hitch. And that, if you decide to activate that, although that gives me stress, it also gives me plot points again. So I'm really cool about that approach. I have 2 specialties on my character journal. One of them is crafting. This is not crafting. The other one is sun magic, and this is sun magic. So I will use that on my pool.
Perfect. I have a feeling you're going to beat a 4.
I know. I don't know how I'm going to do it. Finally, I have 3 sun magic spells that are my routine. I know these very well kinds of ones, and they are Bolt of Fire or Fulmin Ignem. I also have Sense Truth of the Heart, which is Verum Animo. I can use that to try and tell if someone's lying. But also I have Circo Luminous or Ring of Light, which is what I'm using here. If I'm using one of these spells that's one of my known spells, I can get to add this D8 in because it's a sun magic spell that I am very well acquainted with. So that's all I've got to do it. Shall I roll the dice?
Let's roll.
All right.
First roll.
As Optimus Prime said.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Cool.
Well, it is a heroic success. So there's that. So chat, you're going to get a giveaway copy of the Cortex Prime game handbook.
Perfect. But then you also, so help me read this. So you succeeded, but you did roll 2 hitches.
Right. So like I said, I'm a little bit tied up with the fact that I'm fed up that the moon magic is not working. And my own experiences with sun magic, with fire, light, and truth, and so forth. And so in doing so, I'm spinning the staff around and saying, look, reveal, and so on. But it's also, I think I'm probably getting really angry about the fact that we're in this position. You can do whatever you like with that. I think if you wanted to activate them and give me angry stress, I like that because later on I can use that as part of my heat being. So that's kind of a thing. But if you might say it's insecure, maybe I don't think I'm doing well enough because I'm having to compare with Feathershaw's magic. So that's up to you.
Let's go. You know what? I'm going to go. Let's go angry stress. You've sort of put yourself in a mood. It's your own fault. You might need a timeout later. I don't know. So that said, Babacar cast this ring of light successfully. It's almost like the Wizard of Oz black and white to Technicolor switch in real time as this just sort of field of daylight pushes across the night sky on this island, and it reveals sort of this this abandoned bit of city block, leading further down. You're almost on this like main street that clearly like leads directly to the center of the city. It doesn't look wavy. There aren't buildings in front of you. It looks like a very well put together, for the most part, kind of grid system going on down towards the central city. And that's when you see it watching you. staring, taking it all in. A small chicken. Small chicken stands in the middle of the road, just very intrigued by these three strangers. It's an odd-looking kind of chicken. I mean, it's a chicken. There's only so many differences in a chicken until it's, I don't know, an eagle. So you recognize it as a chicken. It has this huge, these giant tufts of feathers on its head, completely covering its eyes. If you weren't characters in the world of Xadia and you were characters on the Sunset Strip in the early 90s, you might think the chicken looked a little like Slash from Guns N' Roses, which is, just this huge kind of tuft of hair that would be great for a top hat, which the chicken doesn't currently have. But if we do another draft of the playtest, Cam, give the chicken a top hat.
I'll leave enough for Dan.
Yeah, please do. So this chicken is just sort of staring at the three of you. It very sort of slowly starts to, almost like a velociraptor, just training on all three of you, just slowly moving forward. And as you say, what are you looking at? The chicken just starts stalking directly towards you, Vanessa.
Is this a normal chicken or is it a different? It's some weird skywing chicken.
Still coming.
Babu, what's?
I don't know what this is.
I just draw. I just draw my sword. So as I pull it out of the sheath, you can see as the sunfire magic just courses through from the center and all the way up through the blade. And I'm not striking the chicken. I'm just holding it out like a torch, keeping this thing from getting too close to me.
As much as I want to make this a test or a contest.
Can I intimidate this chicken? Can it be a contest between me and the chicken?
This intimidation tactic on the poor chicken works. It just kind of freezes, and you still can't see its eyes, but you see these eyebrow ridges over the tufts of feathers go, and this egg just falls out of the bottom of the chicken and just rolls a little bit further back down the road and into the city. And it's kind of just paralyzed and frozen in fear.
I straighten up, put the sword away, and it's a normal chicken.
What kind of place has that elf sent us to? I shouldn't say elf, I should say Moonshadow. What kind of place has that Moonshadow sent us to?
So Eljal, you've sort of been watching the spell being cast. There's this wall of daylight around the three of you now. You've watched Vanessa intimidate a small piece of poultry. What's going through Eljal's mind? What are they thinking? What are they doing?
Well, just observing everything. Definitely has been clocking all the rude Moonshadow comments from Bubblecar. Just kind of clocking that. And thinking, which way do we go to find this target that we need to find?
So
that's it.
So as the three of you are just sort of standing and observing this chicken, there is finally another blast of moonbeam, and I don't know, just for the heck of it, because I think it's kind of cool. The moonbeam hits the dome of sunlight. I don't know how these are actually supposed to interact, but this is fun to me. So the moonbeam actually hits this dome of sunlight, which was not supposed to be there, and not part of the plan and not expected, and kind of goes wham, all the way down. And to reveal your benefactor, your boss on this current quest, Feathershaw, this very self-serious, very stern-looking Moonshadow elf, who looks a little sterner than usual thanks to that fairly unexpected landing. Feathershaw is this very tall, kind of lanky, just all arms and legs, gender neutral Moonshadow elf quiet eyes, very grim, very serious, straight to the point. No real sense of humor. You remember the human kept cracking a lot of jokes, and Feathershaw just sort of kept getting, grimmer-eyed and grimmer-eyed the more that went on. But Feathershaw collects themselves, dusts off a little bit. There is a bit of a glow, a residual glow from the literal feather shawl that Feathershaw is wearing. That is the magical device that transported the group to the island in the first place. Feathershaw rolls their eyes a little bit as they dust themselves off, and eyeballs Babacar a little bit. Says, "Was that necessary? Truly?"
Well, you weren't here, so I just took initiative.
Initiative.
Yes, it's about time, pretty one.
Say again.
It's about time, pretty one.
Ah,
We've been waiting.
well, I apologize for not being on your schedule. Just very sort of frustrated. You sort of get the idea. Feathershaw wasn't rude to anyone when you were hired. That'd be a weird way to hire people. But definitely just was not happy with that landing. So Feathershaw steps into the Dome of Light, adjusts their eyes a little bit to the brightness, gives Eljaw a bit of a glance for a moment. You pick up on it, Eljaw. Babu Benet, I'll leave it up to you whether or not you notice as well. There's just a bit of a flash of emotion as they sort of glance at their fellow Moonshadow Elf. And Feathershaw, reiterates 12 hours to get to the well. Remember, it is absolutely imperative that I get this. This is the secret to my city's survival. Does everyone understand? This is life and death for my people.
Yes, of course.
As long as you hold up your end of the deal and we get to take whatever else we find for our city and our people.
Absolutely. Eljaw, you're still agreeable to the deal?
Yes, of course. How soon can we start?
Fine. If you wouldn't mind removing your work, Babacar.
Very well. And I'll make it, I'm going to have it fade out rather than just go away. And see, we're just watching them as I do it. Look, this is what real magic is.
Feathershaw doesn't seem super impressed. They're very sort of self-absorbed. They do step over the chicken and sort of, roll their eyes a little bit. I see you've made friend with a native. Begins casting a spell. Gestures to the three of you and says, "Please manage not to bother me for a moment." This purple glow sort of starts to come off the Feathershaw as they start casting this spell. All of their attention is heading towards it. This wispy sort of smoky, like purple light starts to emanate from their hands as they gesture forward. The light starts to snake its way down that street where the egg rolled towards there's a large, you see further into the abandoned city, there's this huge, there's this large keep kind of structure, sort of what looks clearly to be, a very sort of standard traditional center of a town like this. Were the town not abandoned, this is the place where everyone retreats into the walls and in case of emergency, stuff like that. So this energy sort of starts to work its way through the street, and a moment goes by, and Feathershaw is kind of talking to themselves, and you kind of overhear them saying like, interesting. And as Feathershaw tenses, you sort of see a change, like in this like smoky magic. All of a sudden, it becomes very like rigid. and almost starts to be like in a push-pull sort of situation with whatever is sort of like going on in the keep. There's Feathershaw almost seems like locked in this like test of wills with this building. And in that moment, the three of you hear someone yell, "Get away from my chicken!"
That's unexpected.
Look around.
So the egg just came out. We didn't do anything.
So as you're sort of looking around, Eljal and Vanessa, you probably instinctually kind of go, you know, sort of snap into a little bit of readiness, being the warriors that you are. And you see, sort of having stepped out of a building, an odd sight. You see this man. He looks, you know, kind of young. He's wearing this old-looking, like it looks like it belongs in a museum. Just this artifact of a piece of armor, and he's wielding just this sort of pathetic-looking. It's somewhere between like a club and just like a really good tree branch. It's a Skywing elf. And they do not look happy. He does not look happy to see your group. He first sees the chicken, and he's focused on the chicken, and then he sort of he sees the three of you, and then also sees Feathershaw like casting this magic, and it just points and goes, "Outsiders, intruders!" Ah! And sort of lifts up the club and just starts charging the three of you. The chicken goes "Ah!" at all the commotion and kind of runs back towards him and to sort of hide behind him. Actually, no, the chicken hides behind the three of you. Eljal, it's sort of just like almost just like full speed running vertically up a wall. It just like runs up your body and over your shoulder and like down the other side of you, and it's just sort of like peeking back behind Eljal's boots. But you have this this strange elf charging at you with a club.
Yeah.
I would like to do the two-part thing where I dodge, like just kind of swiftly dodge the charging elf, and then also take the chicken on my back and throw it at the elf.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Yes.
He wants
yes,
his chicken back.
please.
Sleeves up, Cam. All right, here we go. So let's do this. Let's break this into two steps, Cam. Let's break this into Eljal sort of stepping forward and feinting to duck out of the strange elf's way. So to do that, let me ask you this, Cam. This character, you know, on my end, started the charge.
Yeah.
But this is sort of Eljal's turn. Which of us should sort of start this contest?
All right. So if you want to do a contest with this character, the person who wants to do the thing and get something is the one that initiates it.
Okay.
And you know, you can always favor. You could make this a test and not have it be a contest necessarily. It's just going to be something cool that Eljal does. And if they succeed, then they get what they want, and if they don't, then they take stress.
Okay, well let's do it as a test then.
Yeah,
let's do it as a test. So, Eljal, I'm going to we're going to make this for reasons known only to me. We're also going to make this a very simple difficulty. So let me set up a difficulty for you. One moment. For those watching at home, we have this great little digital dice rolling tool that we're using. And eventually we'll have very cool digital tools available to all of you as well for Cortex Prime.
I think my
Heck
my
yeah.
panel's still up there for some reason. Did I forget to close it?
Oh yeah.
Oh wow, I have, for the first time in my life, as a narrator or the leader of a game of any sort, have rolled well.
Great.
So I've rolled an 11 with a D4 effect die over here. So beat that 11.
Cool, no problem. Okay.
And
You
Cam,
would
Well,
also be able
for
to-
context, please.
Yeah, sorry. You would also be able to include this character's traits into the dice pool when you had rolled the difficulty. If you had wanted to potentially even be more scary. you
Oh,
could-
that's true. Can we step that back then, just so I can do it and learn to do it? So
Yes, and then you're gonna roll worse, and it'll be perfect for us.
it's
Yes.
absolutely going to be a worse roll, I promise you. But for the sake of all of us learning how to play the game together, so all of my narrator characters, have their own different kind of stats, and so I'm going to use some of those. I'm not going to say them out loud because I want mystery for my dear players. So I'm going to. So Cam, I would do this instead of setting a difficulty.
No, they in fact are an addition to the difficulty.
Oh,
So
in addition to the difficulty.
the test
Cool.
always has 2 difficulty dice, and then you get to add in traits from the character if it's not a major character, which I don't think in this case
Perfect.
this one is.
No. And okay, here we go. I'm going to add in one of their characteristics. And here we go. I'm going to roll and it's going to be worse.
Well, not too much worse.
Not too much worse, but
It's still easier.
Got this, Aliza.
All right.
so this gaudily dressed elf is just charging at you with a club, yelling about intruders.
All right. Well, I'm going to use my agility, which is my strongest attribute.
Okay.
And let's see. I mean, I want to say mastery because just like the skill it takes to take a chicken off your back and fling it at someone who's running at you takes some skill. And then
Highly practiced.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Gotta
I
assume that there are very specific poultry kata that that elves are learning the way of the sword.
I think I'm, oh, wait a minute. Spend a PP. So this is my, one of my Moonshadow Elf distinctions is Elf Grace. Spend a PP to step up your agility die in your dice pool for a test, contest, or challenge that factors in your elven speed and balance. Come on, I gotta
Cool.
do that, right?
Totally.
Got it.
I probably should save it for something more important later in the episode, but who cares? I don't
Yeah.
care. I'm gonna do it now.
Show off now.
So I'm gonna spend my plot points and step up, what was it, agility. So I get a D12. Great. And I mean, I have a specialty in sneaking, but this isn't really sneaking, so I don't think I can take
Yeah,
that.
probably not. If you were stealthing up on them, Metal Gear style,
Yeah. All right. Well,
Sneak attack
hiding in
with
a
the
box.
chicken.
Yeah.
yeah.
And-
Okay.
A distinction too, right, Aliza?
I did. Oh, wait.
Because you can use the distinction and you can use the SFX. Same.
Oh, so yes, I get another die.
Oh, that's not fair.
All right, I'm rolling. Beating a 9, beating a 9. Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
Nice effect that too.
Very nice.
What does this
effect
mean? Besides that I succeed.
Well, besides success, Cam, so does that solid like effect roll factor in any way, or?
It's up to you to determine what you want to have happen. If they had failed the dice roll, you would have used the effect die you had generated
Mhm.
as stress on Aljar. But in this case, Aljar can do a number of things. One of them is put some stress onto this elf who is running at us, or create a short-term temporary asset that they could use either for themselves or to give to one of us. Whether that's something like, you know, okay, a
Poultry
clever
distraction.
right, a distractive move, chicken attack. You know, you could make all kinds of things. I think that at the very least, they've gotten out of the way, which is cool. And I don't know whether you want Aliza for that to be something where we're actually making them kind of mad that you threw a chicken at them, because that would be kind of funny. You get to pick. Whoever rolled it and succeeded gets to pick which kind of stress it is if it's going to be applied that way.
Okay, got it. So yeah, so what kind of stress would you like to apply to the strange Skywing elf?
I would, this sounds weird, but I want to add exhausted. Just because, I don't know.
I love it, okay.
I feel like he's been like chasing his chicken around a lot, and then someone just throws it at him. He's like, thanks, I don't know.
I love it.
I love it. Sorry, just making a note. Okay, so first of all, this very, so for as beautiful as this armor looks, this soldier is as untrained as their armor is lovely. You see that from a mile away. He charges, just you just very nimbly, you barely even move. You don't even really lift your feet. You kind of just pivot and then just in one deft swoop. And it's also kind of fun for Babacar and Vanessa to be watching this because they're also just kind of right there. So he actually runs in between, sort of splitting the party, runs past Feathershaw. Eljaw, you sort of sidestep just a little bit, and in one deft move, sort of scoop up this chicken and just sort of lob it point blank range at him. His eyes go very wide, and as he tries to stop himself, his boot just like both of his legs just come off the ground as he's trying to stop himself and catch his chicken, and he just bam, just plants right into the ground, just. And there's just this chicken sort of standing on his chest, staring at him. And after a moment, it kind of looks up at Eljaw, looks back at him, looks back up at Eljaw, looks back at him, pecks him once on the forehead, and then just like skitters back, climbs, does that vertical run back up onto Eljaw and just perches on your shoulder like a parrot.
Oh my gosh. I will look at Eljaw with grudging respect.
Yeah.
I pet the chicken.
Taking advantage.
Okay.
I love it. Taking advantage of this distraction, Vanessa just is going to turn to Feathershaw and kind of try to grab him. Say, Feathershaw, what is the meaning of this? You said this place was abandoned.
So,
and I want to try to stop him from his spell thing.
Ooh, okay. So Feathershaw, obviously not super big on being distracted. And kind of tries to shake you off at first and just kind of ignore you. Would you like to kind of keep pushing your luck on Feathershaw, sort of? Now, like a lot more sort of, you still can't quite tell what it is they're doing, but there's more purple energy and it seems to be getting more intense. And do you kind of want to push your luck there and actually really try to get this spell stopped?
Yeah, I want Feathershaw, I want them to have to like answer my questions. So I'm trying to get them to look at me.
Okay, cool. So like, what are you doing exactly?
I am just gonna go straight for like kind of grabbing like both arms because I'm sure they're casting like that, and grab their arms and just force them to turn and look at me.
Okay, shoot. Okay.
Would this be a contest or?
This would absolutely be a contest.
She's used to doing this with me in the past, obviously. I'm gonna cast a spell. No, you're not, brother.
No, and just like shaking you by the shoulders.
He's just like Babu. You just mumbo jumbo.
I'm having flashbacks.
So yeah, I'll build my pool here to get this moon elf's attention. So I'm gonna do my strength, just trying to overpower.
Okay.
And this is gonna be my my justice, because this my great might represents defense and not destruction. We weren't told there were people here. I feel really uncomfortable about this whole thing. And I'm going to hinder my Knight of Luxaria distinction. That's the reason I'm here, is for Luxaria, but I'm conflicted about hurting other people to do that. So I'll hinder that for a 4.
Cool.
And that'll just be it. So I've got my strength attribute, my justice value, and my Knight of Luxaria distinction.
Amazing. Give it a roll.
Give that a roll.
Eee. That's bad for me.
Ooh, really good. I
Mm.
got a 12 with a D10 effect die.
Okay, so I am going to counter in this contest with Feathershaw. And Cam, feel free at any point when I am wrong to tell me so, and I will very much appreciate it.
You want to talk about what a contest is?
Yes, please, actually, would you?
So a contest is different from a test, because a test is something against the environment or trying to do something. And sometimes secondary characters like this one who was running at us aren't full-blown characters, and therefore they're kind of like the environment. And so a test is very simple, straightforward. Did you succeed or fail? And if so, what do you do? The contest, it starts out a little bit like that, but the person who initiates it is the one who starts the contest and says, I want to do this thing. And I think in this case, Benita wants to stop Feathershaw from using magic. And then Feathershaw probably doesn't want to stop using magic. So then what happens next is the person that is initiating it rolls the dice, and then the target will try and roll higher and beat the roll. And then it will go back to the initiator again, who will continue to either try and roll higher or can give in. And if a player gives in instead of continuing to do the contest, they will get a plot point, but they will still not get what they want.
Perfect.
And
Okay.
if you fail to roll high, you will take stress. So it's often good to give in because you get a plot point and no stress. But yeah.
And stress is sort of our Tales of Xadia version of, like hit point damage. But I think our distinction and sort of, again, you are the most welcomed and friendly, well, actually, a boy could ask for. Anytime you need to jump in, please jump in. But my understanding of stress is, again, character, narrative driven. So, there's emotional stress, exhaustive stress. There is, health and damage and, being wounded kind of stress. But, there's more to this than just one kind of damage.
Yeah, stress is the kind of things that make life difficult for you. And so when you have stress, the stress die that you have, which can get bigger and bigger, and you can have different types of stress, afraid and angry and insecure and so on. Those dice go into your opposition dice pool. So it makes it harder to do what you want to do.
Right.
So, and that's up to you too, Joe, if you want to say, well, because you've got afraid stress, then you can't effectively do the thing you want because you're too scared. But if it had nothing to do with being scared or not, then it wouldn't factor into the opposition.
Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to roll in this contest as Feathershaw. So I'm going to sort of break down a couple of the greater aspects of Feathershaw, so I can talk you through how I'm building this dice pool. From Feathershaw's distinctions, well, first of all, Feathershaw's a catalyst character. They're a little more of an important character than, say, this rando that charged at you with a club. So catalyst characters are characters that can change and evolve based on the player's interactions with them. So I'm going to throw that catalyst distinction into the dice pool first of all. because messing with Feathershaw is like messing with the writer of this tale, and that's a sticky thing to do. Feathershaw has 3 distinctions: Moon Shadow Elf, Exiled Moon Mage, and Single-Mindedly Acute. In this case, I'm going to go with Single-Mindedly Acute. Nothing is going to stop Feathershaw from casting the spell and doing what they need to do. From Feathershaw's values, I'm going to use truth, but I'm going to step it down, Cam. Does that track? Because I think Feathershaw's sort of relationship with the truth is a little self-serving and a little fluid.
No, it'll stay where it is. You don't
Okay.
step it down when you're rolling it. What might happen is if Feathershaw loses this contest, you could step it down and put something else up.
Okay, got it. And that's a way that these Catalyst characters evolve as a direct result of your interaction with them, which I think is super cool. Specialties, moon magic. Throwing it in there. And I'm also going to throw in, Feathershaw also has a special asset, their Owl Feather Cloak, which I feel is sort of, a nice source of magical enhancement for their spells. I'm going to throw that in there as well. Got a nice pool. Gonna roll it. Let's see what happens.
Okay, rude.
Very rude. Okay, interesting. So rolled an 11, which doesn't beat you, I don't think. You rolled a 12, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, I have a 12.
Yeah. Okay, so but also rolled a hitch for myself. So in this case, Cam, Feathershaw would take some kind of stress, right?
Well,
Or step down an attribute.
There's 2 things that you can do here. You can say, yes, that was a failure, but you could also mess around a little bit by spending a plot point, giving it to Vanessa, and keeping your D10 die into your total. And then you would move your D8 into the effect die, which would make it a 15 roll instead of an 11 roll.
Okay, which is cool. Okay, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to create this plot point for Vanessa.
That's your cost to do that, right? Keeping another die,
Okay.
and giving there one.
Okay,
So it's just like if you were a player, like GMCs have the same kind of, or narrator characters rather, in Tales of Xadia, have the same abilities to be like, I spent a plot point to move this die into my total.
Got it. Perfect. Okay, so I'm doing that, which I believe means Feathershaw wins this round of this contest.
Yep.
That round, anyways.
Can you drag it over in the thing? Does that work?
I think I can. Oh, here we go. Drop that into my total. Okay, perfect.
So it's, at the moment, and also as far as that hitch goes, I don't know whether Vanessa needs to buy that to do anything with it right now. You don't have any stress.
I have no stress right now, so. Mm-mm.
Okay, so
Nope.
there's no need for it.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Now, the smart thing to do
Mhm.
would be to just give in, because 15's really high. So it's very risky to keep going. And if I gave in, I'd get a plot point. I wouldn't take stress. I wouldn't get what I wanted, but I would feel better. But I don't think Vanessa would back down. So I'm going to try again. And I'm angry now.
All right, cool. So
So
you're
I'm going to try to
escalating
beat that
it.
15.
Okay. So what's this
I am
originally?
going to escalate this contest.
Perfect, because like step 1 was literally grabbing Feathershaw by their arms and shaking. So I definitely want to know what escalating that means.
Yeah, so I think that now it's now there's like people there's this whole thing, and the distraction is gone, so she knows that Feathershaw is going to be a lot quicker on everything. So she's just going to try to go like a headlock, like full on
Oh my gosh.
completely control him so that he can't keep doing what he's doing. So I'm going to go ahead with my strength. And as I do this, I think actually I should double check my SFX here. Perfect. Yes. I'm going to use my Sunfire Elf distinction this time. And I'm going to add a D8 angry stress to myself because I'm getting angry. And my skin begins to like crackle and glow as the inner heat of my Sunfire Elf being starts to go and just heats up. Not to a point that I would burn Feathershaw, but to the point where I'm showing that I'm very serious about them giving me their time. So lets me step up my strength for this, for the whole contest.
Okay. This is
so for however
quick.
long that goes.
And that's a cool thing that all the Sunfire Elves can do as a special effect for them. They can choose to get mad.
Yes. And
Poor Feathershaw.
yeah, and that means that I do have stress though, so Feathershaw will get to use it against me.
Okay, perfect.
This is going to be my continued justice here, and tell me if I view this as kosher or not. Can I use animal training here? I'm treating Feathershaw like a large heifer, like I'm gonna just get you under my control. I'm not treating you like a person right now.
You're just gonna grab Feathershaw by the scruff.
Yeah, so can I use like by the moon cloak?
Yeah, you know what? This is not gonna make your relationship great, but yeah, I'll take it. Do it. Go for it.
Oh my goodness.
Cool. Then I'm adding in an extra D6 for animal training. And that's my dice pool.
That's a running theme on Roll and Keep, isn't it now, Joe?
It really is.
Oh, well.
Okay.
I mean, but it's fine because I'm going to spend a plot point because I have tons of them right now.
Okay.
I'm moving that 4 over.
Ooh, very nice.
Eat it, Feathershaw.
Really? Okay. And then you have stress, and then we have one hitch on the
and I also rolled a hitch. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
I don't know if you want to activate that.
Oh, I'm gonna. I'm gonna. So, and again, Cam, remind me, how does activating that hitch affect the dice pool?
Well, so normally what would happen is you're going to give her a plot point and give her some stress.
Mm-hmm.
You can give her a different kind of stress, a D6 stress, to something that other than the one she's currently got. But if you add more stress to the same one, like if you were to give her a D6 angry stress from your activating the hitch, that would step her D10 or D8 current angry stress up to D10.
Okay.
It pushes it up, making her really mad, which I think is super appropriate.
I think that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna step up that stress, because man, making friends is what we do here.
Answering questions is what I want to do.
Man,
but it also gives you that D10 stress in your dice pool, Joe, because it's being against her. Yeah.
So I can use that. So I'm gonna go ahead and add that in. This party has not moved 15 feet, and already your stress giver is in a headlock. There's a guy on the ground. Okay, so I'm going to start with that stress in my pool. I'm going to go instead of single. I mean, they're the same dice, but for narrative purpose, just so you can really see just the character shining through and how they're actually struggling. I'm going to use Exiled Moon Mage. Suddenly, you are sort of challenging Feathershaw's direct road home. As you headlock them and start heating up, which is a very older brother thing to do, actually.
older sister thing.
Yeah, older, a horrible sister. I was just thinking of my own experience.
Babu knows all about this.
Yeah. And I'm gonna throw in mastery because it's taking a lot of extra focus, with which Feathershaw has spent a lot of time building up, a lot of focus and training to get through this. I'm gonna keep moon magic in there as a specialty, and I'm keeping that asset in there. Well, you know what? I'm gonna be cool, and I'm gonna take away the asset. I'm gonna take away the asset because you are physically interfering with the cloak. So that's my pool. I'm gonna roll it. Okay, so I rolled this 15.
Yeah.
Oh, there's no way out for you.
Yeah, there's no way out of this.
Oh, this is even better for me,
Oy.
because I can buy those hitches.
So Feathershaw
From you.
got these 2 hitches.
Because you gave me all these plot points, these tasty, tasty plot points. So I'm going to give you 1 back. So because you rolled 2 hitches, that means I get to step down my stress 2 times.
Mm.
So I got less angry because obviously this worked out pretty good for me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So you wrestle through. So as a result of that roll, Cam, her stress steps down twice from those hitches. Ultimately, though, our outcome is the stress goes down, and also Feathershaw loses that contest.
Yeah, she gets what she wants, which is to stop him from messing with the magic.
Right.
At least in as far as he was trying to do it in a very useful, helpful, Feathershaw style, correct way. And now a hands all over the place, and now my being dragged around magic disrupting way. I'm sure this won't have any negative effects to us whatsoever.
No, absolutely not. Underscores the guy that helped write the story we're playing. So let's cut over. Let's cut back to the scene that's happening 10 feet behind this. To Eljal and Babakar, who are sort of flanking now just this guy that's just on the ground with the wind knocked out of him. What do you want to do with this guy? These things are happening sort of as Benita is headlocking Feathershaw.
Well,
I just am gonna get closer to the guy on the ground and look at him. I'll also look over at Babakar. What do you think we should do with this guy?
well, I have training in interrogation.
His eyes go wide when he hears that. He's just like, you're going to like interrogate me? Monsters!
We did not expect to find anyone living up here, so I would rather ask him politely if you could make sure the chicken doesn't attack him again.
I can see what I can do about that if he cooperates.
He at the mention of the chicken, he just stares at the chicken and he's like, Wiggy, you traitor.
This chicken never belonged to you.
If you love a chicken, set it free.
He's like, you know what? I talk about this happening all the time to everyone. They say my job. By the way, I'm not just anybody. You guys are in real trouble now because I'm the head of the guard in the city. I'm important. I'm an elected official, and I warn people that this is going to happen all the time. And finally, it happens. And you just got here and you're casting spells and you're stealing chickens. What do you want?
How many people live in this city?
What do you mean? How many? Like, I mean, a city full. I mean, there's not, there's some unhoused areas, but this is I'll ask the questions here.
Oh, will you? And I kind of pet the chicken again, stare at him menacingly.
He doesn't look so much scared as he looks emotional.
Oh, that moment when your chicken denies your
Mhm.
relation.
A tale as old as time, really. And he's like, if there's, I don't know, more than, and he sort of tries to collect himself a little bit. Remember who you are. Remember who you are. You're an elected official. You're in charge of protecting the town. There's enough of us. His like eyes get very like wide and defiant.
I'll look around, up and down, around us, and I say, well, where are they?
Everybody's back in and he sort of points as the spell at this moment is still going on while Benita is like wrestling Feathershaw, and he just points and he's like, in the direction that you of whatever it is you're doing, stop it.
I assume that Benita is wrapping up her successful contest at this point. I want to try and bring her away from Feathershaw before she does anything awful to him, like break his neck.
I just got him to stop, Babu.
Yes, he stopped, but he is also our way off. They are also our way off this island, and there are people here. Look around you.
Yeah, speaking of which, I come over to them too. Feathershaw? Yes, Feathershaw. You brought us here under false pretenses. This is not an abandoned city. Can you explain?
So as Benita's being like pulled off of Feathershaw, and Elgel gets into Feathershaw's face and starts making accusations. That is when you start to feel it, the entire island starting to shudder under your feet. You sort of see the city starts to shake a little bit. This random guy sort of like gets up looking like really freaked out to the point where an earthquake, a skyquake, I don't know quite what you'd call this, but to the point where fear has by necessity just driven him like to the group, and he's just like, what's going on? What is going on? Feathershaw looks furious at the three of you.
Can I try to determine if something has gone wrong with the magic?
Absolutely.
Awesome. All right.
What would you like to do?
It'll be a test. I've got... well, I'm just trying to try and recognize... It's not like a spell. I'm just trying to sort of determine whether, based on my knowledge of magic in general, which I can kind of extrapolate to the moon magic. I mean, rune magic does work in more or less similar ways depending on where you're using it, but it's the source you bring it from, right? So I guess I wanted to determine quickly, did Benita do something to affect Feathershaw and therefore lead to some problems, or is this Feathershaw's own fault?
Sure. So I will. This is going to be an easy test. So I'm going to roll my my 2d6s. I hit an 11.
So,
oh wow. Okay. Yikes. All right. I figure this is awareness. I'm not going to use intellect. I'm just trying to, because I don't know. I'm just going to try and determine from what had happened just now whether that's what was going on. It's truth again for a value.
Okay.
And it's hot-headed fire mage, but this time I think I'll use it as a D8, not a plot point generator. And I don't know whether sun magic is going to help me or not, since it's not sun magic I'm actually looking at. It's just moon magic, but up to you whether you think I could use it just because I know rune magic in general.
I think maybe, there's enough, I'll just make a call on, magic, a thing that exists and that I understand very well. There's got to be some gen eds, that sort of overlap. So you just on your, your very just basic understanding, throw it in there.
Cool. All right. Well, but also I'm really angry. So I still haven't gotten rid of my stress.
Should I have put that in my role?
Yeah, because you know I'm going to try and do something, and therefore I guess you could have it included before you roll the dice.
Okay. I can just add it to the total, which was an 11. It was what, a D6 of stress?
D8 stress.
D8 of stress. Okay, thank you. That's right. You started at a D6 and rolled up. Okay, so 12, 13.
All right. Yay. Oh, good. I get more hitches.
Okay, so so you succeed by 1. You would, but because of the hitch, you're going to get a little more stress.
Okay.
Let's just stay on the angry track. I think that's appropriate with the altercation that's going on right now.
Yeah.
So step that up for me.
Okay.
You get the sense that whatever just happened, and even as you're sort of trying to like kind of get a sense of what's going on, the shuddering starts to slow down. This violent quake comes to a stop. But you get the sense that Feathershaw being abruptly cut off was the cause of this. So maybe a little
Oh no.
Benita's fault.
Yeah. Now that I know that, I'm still gonna pretend like it wasn't my sister's fault, and I'll say, "What have you done to the to Feathershaw?" And I'll look at Benita like I'm giving you an out. Don't do anything more, because I'm trying to pull her away and say, "What have you done?" I'm looking at her like,
So
magic is done.
So Feathershaw is furious and just stares at your sister and just says, "Well, maybe you should have just let me keep that spell going instead of treating me like some sort of barn animal." And it's readjusting the feather shawl that Feathershaw wears. I wasn't sure, but almost sort of immediately, like almost too in their own head and almost not present with you guys at all times. Feathershaw's kind of like, I wasn't quite sure what would happen there. Maybe I should have known better, but it was necessary to find it. You do feel look, no one here has ever been on a floating island before, but you do get the weird sense that it's moving a lot faster now. And which Feathershaw also just sort of very matter-of-factly adds, well, we definitely don't have 12 hours anymore. And as Feathershaw makes that announcement, you realize that as the rumbling and the shaking had sort of ramped up in sound, it definitely crossfaded into general collective panic from the highly populated town that you were on the outskirts of. You can start seeing in this town center, people are starting to gather in this square, around the keep, freaking out and looking around, Armageddon's here. There are people just look, what's happening, and checking in. You can't quite see details, but you can definitely, there are figures sort of down the street, maybe 2-3 like city blocks away. People are absolutely outside and starting to panic, and the guy that is with all of you just says, I think you're all under arrest. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm like arresting all of you. So this way, please. And he just like points towards the keep.
I'm just gonna, I make eye contact with Babukar and Vanessa and Feathershaw, and I kind of like do a head nod, and then I just run in the other direction towards where the spell was pointing.
So you're running towards where Feathershaw was casting the spell?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Which I mean, just to be clear, is where he was sort of like gesturing, but you're also like running, just completely sans him. So Elshal bolts.
The nod is follow me, just to be clear.
Perfect. So Elshal bolts, Wiggy in tow. Like there's just you know, Looney Tunes, just like, and there's just like feathers where Elshal used to be. Siblings, are you guys following?
I'll look at Beneda and I'll just like, what we should follow.
Yes, look, it's another chicken over there. And try to also run.
So you break easily. Oh, we won't make this a roll. The three of you take off. Feathershaw, very frustrated and resignedly, you know, as irritated as they are right now, and furious and frustrated, and you're still their ticket. And Feathershaw is sort of just definitely doesn't run, sort of a regal run walk, a rawalk, we'll call it, which leaves this rando head of the guard standing by himself, and is like, yeah, dang right, very under arrest, and very sort of like puffs up his chest and like starts jogging after the group. So the three of you sort of run, and you hit sort of like the beginnings of this crowd. It's all Skywing elves, and I'll let the three of you sort of decide, you know, how many dealings you've had with Skywing elves, how familiar you are with the culture, whether it's you've met a few nomadic Skywing elves, or you have just straight up immersed yourself, you know, maybe, I don't know, you had a really intense summer camp encounter with a Skywing elf, and you know what I'm saying. You guys can decide for yourselves. But so all these Skywing elves, and the big thing you notice is that they're not dressed like modern Skywing elves. They look like something almost like out of a history book. There's a very like Pleasantville sort of vibe going on with these Skywing elves, who are just like eyes wide open at all of you. These are the Skywing elves that time left behind, and they are just staring at all of you like crazy invaders from the future. And so as you sort of start to come in, and this guy is just jogging behind you, and he's just like, there they are, they're my prisoners. I've got they caused the sky, they caused the earth/skyquake, but I've got it all under control. I've got it under control. He's like jogging. Everyone's sort of like backing away, like very nervous and uncomfortable from the three of you.
Did Feathershaw not also run?
Yeah, Feathershaw is sort of in between there. It's honestly like a sight to see, because again, Feathershaw not really running, but also moving very quickly. Feathershaw is not what you would call a runner, but also still somehow just moving right along very quickly, kind of floating Princess Peach Mario 2 style. Just sort of like floating along almost. So the crowd sort of like parts, and you guys find yourselves surrounded is the wrong word, because they look scared of you, not angry. What would you like to do?
Yes,
so none
we
of them
have
are
been
winged, right?
very well.
Ask again, Cam. Sorry.
All right, none of them are winged Skywing elves. They're all wingless.
That is correct, person that wrote this. And what an important distinction to make. Thank you.
So they're Pleasantville, and they don't have wings.
And they don't have wings.
No wings.
Yeah. So no. Yeah. These are all wingless Skywing elves, which makes the name very cruel, honestly.
And the fact that they're on a floating city.
Yes. So what would the three of you like to do?
Yeah, I just kind of say, yes, we've been very well arrested. We are going to do community service. So somebody please tell us what is going on and we will help as our community service.
What?
We've been arrested. They don't need to chase us. No pitchforks, nothing. We're good.
Oh, I don't seriously think he has any power to arrest us. We're not citizens.
Yeah, I've got plenty of power to arrest you because I just did. He points at you, Eljal, and is like, that back there, that was luck. I'm actually very intimidating.
I ran. I'm good. In my mind, so I'm not sure in relation to the crowd where I am. Are they between me and where the spell was pointing to? Yeah, so the spell was pointing to, you guys are now, everyone is sort of in this this town square, kind of, this idyllic downtown area, and at the center of that is this mysterious looking keep. Not mysterious in the sense that it's a crazy looking building, but it is the only keep on a floating city you've ever seen that just had purple magic like gripping it. So in that sense, there's some mystery there. But yeah, so the keep is sort of in the center. And that's where the thing that we're supposed to be extracting is, presumably, right? Possibly, yes. / absolutely, says, I keep forgetting that Cam helped write this. There are no secrets. Except what I've already broken. I've already broken a few things, and I'm sure I'm going to hear about it.
No, it's good. I'm blissfully unaware of any actual plot elements whatsoever.
So you guys are your group. I'm sorry, is in. I'll go full Southern. Y'all are in front of the keep. There's this sort of big double door. And then in front of that double door is where this ring of crowd sort of starts, and you are at the center bullseye of it.
Okay, so we're talking like we're running up to the door, and then the Benita and I are kind of like turning and telling the crowd something while Eljal is just spurting back through into the place. Are you going inside, Eljal, or are you standing outside?
Yeah, do you want to break through the door?
Yeah, I want to find somewhere to hide. So, I mean, it's going to be hard to hide with the whole town looking at us, but just trying to get away from this weird person trying to arrest us.
Sure. Yeah. So you start to beeline for the door. And like I said, everyone here is terrified of you. You just came and caused an earth/skyquake. So they scatter very quickly. Particularly, there's an old lady who, had she had time, she would have grabbed her end is near sign. And as you are running, you just hear this little clip of like, I knew they could, and she gets out of the way like really quick. As you are running towards these double doors, they swing open, and an older gentleman of a Skywing elf steps out. He's in very like fine robes. His face is covered in these very, very cool looking tattoos. Very sort of like kind and warm and welcome eyes, and definitely the first calm person that you have met on this island. You just get that sense immediately from seeing him. And you sort of stop short as he opens the doors and steps down. There, there's a couple little steps in front of the double doors. The guy who arrested you sort of like hurries and catches up, and it's like, Elder Gnostics, intruders in the city, resisted arrest after trying to attack the keep with magic. They're in my custody, sir. And the elder sort of glances back and forth, definitely notices the fact that this chicken is on Eljal's shoulder. And he just sort of smiles and nods and is just like, well, Well done, Necrix. Well done. Indeed, we were wise to put our trust in you. Very wise indeed to vote you captain of the guard. Welcome, my friends. Welcome all of you. Gestures to Feathershaw, who's sort of stepping up with everyone. I'm Elder Nosix. Welcome to Inene. I serve as both leader here, spiritually, politically, as well as the keeper of the primal well. What can I do for you?
We're here for the primal well.
Feathershaw sort of tries to roll that into a united front. And, you know, it is like, yes, we're here. We're here for the primal well, old man. Take us there immediately. Listen to me, all of you. This city is on a collision course with disaster. I am your only hope of leaving here alive, all of you. I'm your only hope from saving you from this horrible disaster, and the only way I will do it is if you give me the well. Take me there immediately. Which gives a very stunned silence, which gives way to this very sort of panicked roll of sound of chaos and confusion as this town completely freaks out. There's just this cacophony of what's happening, and you just hear one lady like, I told you all and no one would listen. And as this just chaos starts to roll over the group, that is where we will end our first ever jump into the Tales of Xadia playtest material. I think that's a good as place as any to put a pin in it. We will see everyone next week right here on Twitch on Fandom Tabletop. I want to thank the three of you for playing with me. First of all, thank you so much for the opportunity to do this. I greatly appreciate it, all three of you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for running this.
Yeah, wow.
Well, look, and I want to thank all of you for watching, whether you're already old school Cortex RPG fans, whether you've literally never rolled dice in your life and you just love glow toads. Thank you so much for being here and checking this out. We really appreciate it. And again, I want to just give a heartfelt thanks and great job to the team that is working so hard in putting this incredible book together and bringing this amazing story to life. Again, in chat, they're dropping links so that you can get early access to these playtest materials. There's a lot of cool exclusive lore stuff that you guys haven't seen before that can tide you over until season 4 of The Dragon Prince rolls out. And then, of course, Tuesday, the 9th, is when pre-orders for the actual book open up. And of course, I want to thank so much everyone at Wonderstorm, not only for making an absolutely incredible show that I'll say on a personal note, when things started to get real dicey with the lockdown and, you know, I sort of started to feel the walls close in on me, I discovered The Dragon Prince. That's when I discovered The Dragon Prince for the first time and got to just crank through all 3 seasons. It's an amazing show. If you're just here because you like dice rolling, if you're on the other end of the spectrum and you just really like dice rolling, you don't know The Dragon Prince, watch The Dragon Prince, baby. It is an incredible show. So thank you not only for building this incredible world, but for letting us hop in the sandbox and play. We're incredibly grateful. Thank you guys so much. And Aliza, where can we send folks on a little raid before we get out of here?
Well, my group Ripley Improv is doing an improvised medical drama, and we're bringing back season 1 tomorrow evening. It's it's crazy, live improvised medical drama. And I play a goth doctor, which is insane, really fun. But I think right now they're still doing a little watch along, so I'll just check and make sure they're still live.
Well, folks, raid Ripley Improv, incredible, an incredible group of lady performers that you should absolutely be supporting. And we will see all of you next Thursday back here on Roll and Keep. Thank you guys so much. See you next time.